Well, as we're wrapping up our project house, there's a lot of activity going on. The guys are laying tile on the driveway, a lot of stuff happening to the exterior of the home. But today we're going to focus on the entryway. We've got some big wood custom doors. Let's go take a look. Well, as you can see, once we move up close, this is a massive set of doors. Now, standard doors on the front of a house are 3 feet wide, 6 feet 8 inches tall. If you get an oversized door, it's normally 3 feet wide, 8 feet tall. We're actually going all the way to 10 feet tall. Now, the reason the designers picked a door this big is because we have a really big house, and if you had little doors on the front of it, it just wouldn't look right. So they've gone ahead with big doors. And they're not only big as far as height, also width. The normal door is 1 3/4 inches thick. This one is actually 2 1/4 inches thick, a ½ inch thicker. Now, when you go with something bigger like that, and it's solid wood the way this one is, you need some big hinges. So we've got oversized hinges to actually support all that weight. You can go a little bigger than we have with this door, but not much, because if you get much bigger, you're going to end up with some sagging problems. Now, on front doors on a house, you're going to hit a lot of weather, temperature changes and moisture changes, so you don't want the door to warp. And that's why when you go with a solid wood door like this, it's not one piece of wood, even though it looks like one piece of wood that's been carved. It's actually several pieces of wood put together, so we're not going to have warping problems. Now, down the sides, running through here, these are called stiles. And they're the ones that run up and down. The ones that run crossway, those are called rails. You can see right here, we've got grain going this way in our mahogany door, and we've got grain going this way. Now, the door design company built this door for us, and as you can see, they did a lot of handwork in here. Well, this piece, this solid piece here, is actually floating in between our rails and stiles. It's actually in there really tight, but if the door warps or moves just a little bit, this will move. We're not going to end up with a crack in our wood, and that's what we want to avoid at all costs. Now, you can see there's also a lot of handwork here. This piece was actually attached to our rail. I've got a piece right here that the guys did carve as well. There'd be a piece like this on this side and a piece going down the other side. As you can see, a lot of detail work even in those pieces. This pattern they call lattice rosette. It's because of the lattice work pattern that you see in here, and then the rosettes they put right where the lattice joins. Now, they did it with a chisel. With mahogany, you can take a chisel with your hand and actually carve it out, but you can see it took a lot of man hours to build this door. We're going to go to a door next door a little later that's made out of oak, and when you do an oak door, you've actually got to have a hammer with your chisel. You can't just do it by hand. You're going to have to bang on it to actually get that look. Now, even the frame itself is made out of mahogany as well, and this was not pre-hung. Normally when you buy doors nowadays, the door is already hung in the frame and you put the whole thing in at once. We put this frame in weeks and weeks ago when we were building the house. Then they came back and they hung the door. The frames moved a little bit because the house has shifted a little bit, so there was more man hours to get it adjusted just right. And when you do custom doors, it is going to take a little bit of work to get them to fit real snug. Ours has a real nice smooth action on it now. It's easy to open, and even as heavy as it is, a child could move the door back and forth. It fits in really well. One other thing on the frame is down here at the bottom. You've got to slope the water away from the interior of your house. It's flat right here where the door sits on it, but then it slopes downhill. The reason for that is we're going to have water hitting the door when it rains. We need that water to go down, and then we need to go away from the house. We don't want any moisture coming inside the house. Now, we've got a door just a little further along next door from the door design company. It's made out of oak. Let's go take a quick look. Now, the builder of this house did a totally different style home, so he did a totally different style custom door. So you can see we've got more of a Gothic look with this big archway above it. A lot of work went into this. I mean, it's hard to make an arch out of wood, and they did a great job on it. Actually, in our insets here between our rails and our stiles, they did a French linen fold pattern that they carved out, or chiseled out basically. As you can see, it looks like a piece of linen that's actually folded over on itself. Got a little fleur-de-lis right there on top of it. Neat detail on this house also is this brick mold. It's 6 inches wide, it's about 1 3/4 inches thick. And you can see a lot of hand carving, a lot of work. This is a detail I really like on this archway right here. So you can see there's several pieces of wood that were actually carved and then put together to form that archway. A lot of work that went into that. Here you can get a good look at our weather stripping that goes down all the way through. Our sill down here at the bottom to prevent any moisture from getting in. Again, it tilts away from the house, so any water is going to run away from the house. When you're building a house, you need to make your custom doors match the house. So whatever style you go with, you can do with a custom door.